charge it, the more damage it'll do, as well as the stun duration. But if you don't use it in time, you actually stun and damage yourself. His first ability is called Acid Spray. It's a bunch of acid on the ground. It deals damage over time and lowers armor. And his ultimate makes him attack. You're watching this.
Goblin's Greed, dude.
It's actually, it's Greevil's Greed now, yeah.
Greevil's Greed. It gives you extra gold.
Extra gold.
For every last hit you get.
For every last hit. It's pretty cool. Usually don't pick up too many levels of that anymore, but his ultimate is really awesome. It gives him a ton of health regeneration, like ridiculous amounts.
You run faster as well.
You run faster, you attack faster. It's actually one of the best. It's one of the best scaling ultimates in the game.
Yeah. It's a little surprising to see Alchemist get picked here because we haven't seen him played a huge amount, but maybe this is what EG needs. What they're grabbing him for is for the counter push. He's going to put the acid spray down under a tower, and it's going to help them defend the towers. And that's one of the issues that they had last game. Even though they had okay heroes, they weren't unable to slow the push and stop the pushes from going. And now we're here in the USA chance.
Yeah.
They want EG to stay together here. They've got to win the next 2 games to stay in the tournament and go to the grand finals. Vici Gaming is up 1 game, though, and this could be it. Arteezy playing Viper. I know for a fact he doesn't like this hero. He's not going to be happy about this, but he's up against a Dragon Knight.
So maybe that's why he was mad last game, because they told him, yeah, you're playing Viper next game.
Yeah.
5 seconds
like, what?
remaining.
I don't want to play Viper. But he's a better hero than Dragon Knight in a 1v1 matchup, but he has to win his lane. And I know that Vici Gaming supports are pretty good at roaming. The Vengeful Spirit and the Ancient Apparition together have a good chance of just killing the Viper. So if the ganks come, they do have a smoke, by the way, which lets them gank very easy. If they do get ganks off against the Viper, EG is going to have a bad time. And they have to win this match, or they're out.
Indeed. This is a best of 3, of course, so if Vici loses, they still have 1 more game. Find redemption. But this is going to be a huge game. A lot of people here. Of course, this is home court advantage, if you will. Actually, it is actually a court, because this is the old Seattle Supersonic Stadium. But either way, Doom and company will go towards the top rune. The rune, of course, will spawn every 2 minutes, starting at the 0-minute mark at either the top or the bottom part of the river. Right now, they're just going to be placing wards, trying to get some vision, trying to block some jungle camps, which actually blocking is a huge deal this game because Enigma is the jungle hero because of his second ability, Demonic Conversion. Now, I would kind of trying to think, if they're going to be roaming a lot, I feel like even going to the enemy jungle is just never an option in this case. So blocking these is a huge deal. The question is, can they actually find the wards?
Well, they're putting them in all of the most annoying places. This one's pretty much impossible for EG to stop because they don't have a Batrider. They don't have a way to see the high ground vision. This one is seriously such a good spot. You have to use a Tango to kill it, and then you put a sentry ward up on the high ground. So for 3 minutes, this won't spawn. It's a very good counter. It's going to force Enigma to use this camp here, and this camp here. Those are the only 3 camps that he's going to have available, which means using them is much weaker. Or, I mean, his overall farm rate is going to be a lot less.
Isn't there a ward you can place in this area that blocks that camp? I'm not sure if that's
in this area?
Yeah.
Not on the high ground. I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. People would use that all the time then. I've never seen them before. I assume you can.
So it looks like Viper is going to be accompanied by an Alchemist here. So Alchemist is going to be playing the support role. This is probably the more common way to play him these days. Even though he's not picked up that often anyway. But yeah, I like the matchup, Viper versus DK. That's going to be annoying since DK was just eliminated. Dragon Knight means DK, guys. Say that. Top lane, some more action, actually Universe. How do you like this matchup? Faceless Void versus the Doombringer. Doom's going to get farmed. Don't know how they can get any kills. I guess the Alchemist is going to come top now, though.
Well, EG has really weird lanes right now. They're doing an off-lane Weaver versus the Nature's Prophet. This is actually a pretty good matchup for Weaver, I think. The only downside is that Sylar on the Nature's Prophet has a ranged advantage, so he's going to take a lot of harass, but he will be healing up shortly. And it looks like Zai is actually just starting on the Ancient. It's really smart of him. He knew that Vici Gaming was running through his jungle, so he's not going to start there because he knows that it's already killed. He's like, why would I go to that jungle camp just to check to see if they block my wards? That's if like I know that they block my wards.
That's like 1 minute of free farming now. That's actually a
he made
deal.
well, he almost made a mistake. It's not a big deal because he can pull creeps from the camp. He'll just wait till the camp comes down. This is the other cool thing about it, is that he's just going to deny another creep as soon as it spawns. It's 1 less creep that Sylar is going to get, which is going to delay his Orchid, and then he just uses it to farm anyway. So there we go. Kills a creep, headed to the Ancients. He's going to continue killing the Ancients. It's pretty slow, but it's better than going into the jungle here and getting harassed.
And as a result, even though Weaver is a very escapable hero, is that a word, escapable? We're just going to use it.
He can be
with
escaped.
That Shikuchi.
That's what that means. Gape Weaver.
Gape Weaver. Okay.
Exactly what we
apply a little bit of damage to Vengeful Spirit. Actually, quite a bit. Is already at half HP. not really a whole lot of kill potential for Vici at this bottom lane against that Weaver, so he should be able to get some levels as a result, especially considering he has a lot of regeneration in his inventory. You can see him eat a Tango. Tango is a regeneration item that you apply on trees. It eats the tree, and you gain health over time.
Actually, does not. Ooh, they don't actually.
Oh, he must. Actually, this is an interesting thing. So he might think they have vision because there's nothing in their inventory, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to think about. I mean, that was what you assume. Top lane, though, we have a concoction being channeled here. It's going to be cast upon Doom. They're not going to have enough damage. Oh, okay, there's the bash. If he gets really lucky on these bashes, maybe he can get him. Time lapse.
I feel like they could have tried that a little harder, but I think PPD wants to save his mana because if you do put Acid Spray down, it does very little damage, and it's very unlikely to get the kill. He saved the... He didn't hold the Unstable Concoction super long there. He could have thrown it out a bit later. He got a longer duration stun and more damage, but it seemed kind of like miscommunication. It felt like he didn't want to waste the mana for a vague chance to get a kill, so he gave up there. But University
that word weird.
Which one? Vague? Because of my Wisconsin accent, dude.
What did it say it again? Vague?
Vague.
Interesting. You don't have like any accent except for that word.
It's my vowels are long. That's about it. Interesting. About. Well,
Enigma now, level 2. Of course, if he was in the jungle, he'd probably be level 3, if not 4 by now. So doing the Ancients, it's much slower, but it's better than nothing, because look at the jungle. There's nothing to
He
pick
definitely
up.
can't even jungle in Vici Gaming's jungle.
I mean, look at this. Look at this jungle first. Even the spot that he could have gone, these are Mud Golems, these are magic immune, so you can't actually use demonic conversion.
What a horrible day for him.
Just horrible. Wait, how many camps are there? Like 1 out of 4? 1 out of 5?
Yeah, it's like 1 out of 3 at least. It's on the bright side, at least Alchemist is also getting good EXPs up to level 3 already. So he's doing an okay job of getting some levels. I mean, obviously we're losing some on Enigma, but again, he's also, the only way he's taking creeps is by killing his creeps. So it denies 1 creep every single time he does this. They're actually going to start to push him. Because they're basically actually getting treed in. There's a Midnight Pulse doing some damage.
That was
They actually dust there.
Very early.
He was hoping to catch him there, but the I think what the problem was, the reason he dusted was because he didn't realize that he ate on the tree already. But he should have expected that. Actually, he should have been able to see because trees get vision. No, I think that was just a bit of a weak
just to give you guys some clarification, the first ability from Nature's Prophet is the one that surrounds you in trees, and since Weaver has a ton of Tangos in his inventory, he can just get out of that pretty much right off the bat. And the Dust of Appearance is a consumable item that you can use to show invisible heroes. If they are invisible when you use it, it actually will slow them in addition to that. But actually, it's funny because even though that's a great item against invisible, it's not that great against Weaver once he hits level 6, because the time lapse when you use it, you'll go back in time to where the position and the health that you were at 5 seconds ago. And in addition, it will actually get rid of the Dust of Appearance on yourself as well. That's why Dust of Appearance is just not that effective in a lot of cases against them.
He's not 6 yet,
yeah,
but
exactly.
But when he does hit 6, it becomes a lot harder. Now, remember, they did have an Observer Ward over here, so this can see the enemies where they're moving. The supports, they saw them running this way, which means he says, alright, Arteezy, I think they're ganking you, they might end up being mid, and what they did instead was they used to smoke, and they're wrapping back around. This is not necessarily what Mason's going to expect it, and he is playing pretty safe. Remember, they have a Dust, but they have to get some longer. There's the first stun, there's the stun. I think he's going to be just fine. Oh, the damage is huge, actually! And he goes down, that's the first blood. Every single hit on him gives him a bonus 50 magic damage, and with all of these ranged heroes, they were able to clean up on him. But
look at this.
Weaver's very squishy. So.
Level 2 Cold Feet on Ancient Apparition. You do not see this very often.
Yeah, you don't.
Very unusual. This is what, so that's actually was applied to him. It does damage over time. It's a nice skill. If you keep the target in the area around the point where you cast it, he'll actually become stunned as well. Against Weaver, it's very difficult. They almost got it actually because of the stun from Vengeful Spirit, but the damage was clearly enough either way, so they don't really need to be immobilized.
Bit of damage being done to Siler. The reason he attacked twice is his third skill, Geminate attack. Every 6 seconds, it will attack twice in a row after the first hit connects. So it's very good for Hats. You kind of pop up, hit twice with Geminate, use Sakuchi, and run through them as well. But there is the phase boots on Nature's Prophet now. He hits very hard, much harder than the Weaver does, despite him having Geminate. And Mason kind of needs to get more HP. He's got a bottle right now, but getting bursted fairly easily. Arteezy pretty low. Interesting skill build actually went max poison attack. Almost no Vipers do this. They all grab at least 1 level of corrosive skin, and usually it's leveling these other skills a bit more, but the trees are gone now and he's got to retreat here. Range creep actually scouting him out. Here comes some TPs actually as well. He's thinking about going in. There's the slow. Big Chronosphere. This should be an easy kill on Vengeful Spear. Some damage being done on Dragon. The stun's gonna follow up. It's gonna land on Siler. Siler goes down. This is so big for EG. 2 kills right on the mid lane. Good rotation from Universe. gets there just at the right time, and PPD with a great stun as well, charging up to full damage, ends up picking off one of the most important heroes on the enemy team. That's going to delay his Orchid. Yeah. They're not going to get the tier 1 tower. They were set up and they were ready for it, and nice rotations from EG puts them in a good spot. Look at the poison damage.
Bottom lane, time lapse for Weaver. His ultimate is already used. He gets killed right afterwards. Easy kill for Vici. Yeah. So despite losing 2 in the mid lane, they get another big kill on Weaver, which is really the hero that they're going to be relying on a lot in the game. Mid lane in the meantime, Artesian the Viper
so dead. Gets
double stunned. Dragon Knight has a melee stun he can use called Dragon Tail. Is actually the longest level 1 actually, wait, is Alchemist stun longer?
It's 1.75, yeah. Not as good. It's very good though.
So, wait, what is 1.75?
The Alchemist stun.
Yeah, yep. One of the best stuns in the game by far. It doesn't do much damage though, it's just basically a stun overall. Mason, bottom lane, gonna apply some pressure to Styler on the Nature's Prophet. He'll attempt to TP out. Oh! Stun from PPD on the Alchemist, ensuring the kill. Weaver's gonna continue to apply some pressure. I don't believe he can get this kill.
But that was a big kill. I didn't think they were going to get anything out of that. I was like, yeah, Mason might be able to do this. And this is the vulnerability to the phase boots build that Nature's Prophet went. It actually leaves you very squishy. And even when he gets the Orchid, every single game we've seen Styler go phase boots, Orchid. Neither of those items give you any survivability other than your positioning. So if you have
punish it.
Yeah, if you have a hero that has a lot of good positioning of his own, you can punish his lack of mobility and go for kills. So Mason's able to get that kill. That's a big assist here. PPD actually picking up the kill himself, and he's doing quite well for a support hero. Arteezy's not doing the best in the mid lane, but the kills are pretty even here. How's Zai doing? He's actually been in the jungle. He's catching up heavily to what he needed before. He had a rough start, but luckily the rest of his team is making space for him to farm now, and Faceless Void's going to do the same. But
and of course those wards have dissipated, so his jungle camps are back and he can farm to full extent.
Doom is up on Doom though, and he's going to probably heal and go look for a kill. He can kill the Weaver very, very easily, though Weaver has picked up another item. This is a Ring of Aquila. What this does gives you some good early game stats, and most importantly, he can get this kill. He actually does a lot of damage right now. A couple more hits, and I think this is going to be another kill. Ooh, Mason doing a great job here.
Actually get the kill with Swarm. You almost never see that.
He did actually.
So when you use Swarm, it applies a bunch of bugs to the enemies in the area that you cast it, and they do a little bit of chip damage. I feel like they do like 30 damage each or something. It's almost nothing. But they actually lower the armor, they give you vision. That's what it's usually used for, is vision. But actually getting the kill, that's pretty
reduces armor, chip damage, and then Geminate on top of that means that you're hitting them. You're basically critting every 5 seconds. Critting meaning critical strike. Critting every once in a while. Ooh, we got some stacks going on. This is done by Zai, the Enigma, but PPD is going to do it as well. He'll drop the acid trade 53, and that will react to the damage, and they will run away, and this will stack. So their box is something like this, and the camps will respawn right there. Bing! And Acid Spray actually does some damage to them, so
Triceratops.
Good for them to take that. Level 7 on Alchemist. Really highly leveled this game. He's doing a nice job.
This is a really cool support here if you think about it, because he has the stun, obviously. He has minus armor.
Oh, big mistake from PPD here. He accidentally took the double damage. Mason wanted to bottle that. That's a big mistake, actually. And I'm sure Mason's really mad right now, because I would be too. He could hold that for 2 minutes, and he could kill Styler again or any other hero with it. Enigma kills the top tower, actually, so it looks like EG's... I mean, Universe is really pumped, actually. He didn't go Midas this game. He actually went early game. He's trying to win this game. He's trying to get early advantage. EG's in a really good spot here. They killed Styler 3 times, for God's sake.
When they pick Void, typically, it's not often you see him get such free farm and ability to just get a lot of levels. So they really need to take advantage of those levels now. If they can. Vici gonna group up again. This is another smoke. Vengeful Spirit is level 5, so it doesn't quite have the swap ultimate as of yet. But Dragon Knight has a nice range stun. His Dragon Tail turns to range if he becomes a dragon, which there he goes. Is he able to get stun out? No, he's on the face report, gets destroyed. They're going to clean up this tier 1 tower, absolutely no problem. Looks like Viper's actually hit with that ancient apparition, and here comes Nature's Prophet. Doesn't so Alchemist should be able to get out, no problem. Artesian done. Oh, the Dragon Tail along with the Vengeful Spirit ultimate. That's going to be 2 kills in all likelihood. The Breathe Fire finishes him off.
Man, not good for VG. They were trying to grab the Viper, but Universe came a bit too far forward. He was about to Chronosphere there. If he could have Chronosphere, they might have been able to get kills, but he was a little too slow there.
They're going to steal this stack now. So all the time and preparation that was used to stack these Ancients, which give a lot more gold than normal creeps, is going to... Well, actually, they don't go for the big ones, so maybe...
Well, they're going to kill some of them, but they know that they don't want to stay too long. If they stay too long, they're going to try to attack from the low ground, maybe. If they can get the Ancient Black Dragon, that's really good. He won't be able to, but if they stay too long and EG shows up in the Mainland Universe...
Oh, one hit! Ooh. Oh, he's going for it.
This is greedy.
Let's see if he gets greedy.
Is he going to die from this?
Oh,
they can see. They can see.
Get it, though.
There's the vision. They see him now. He goes in front of him. Basket Madness, he went too long. He wanted the dragon, and now he might pay for it. Here comes the last hit. He goes down. PBD's going to stun himself, but completely... Oh, maybe not. Oop.
Well, as my brother used to say,
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
That's exactly what happened in this case. Nature's Prophet, just so greedy. I mean, okay, Nature's Prophet is known as a hero that will pick up a lot of gold, and it's actually kind of a meme in Dota 2, for those of you that don't know, about him just farming all day, all long, no problem, not part of any fight, and I guess that's karma. That's Dota 2 karma at its best.
You gotta counter ward this Observer Ward. This is a sentry, this spots invisible things. And it's kind of a game of checkers, or better yet, you're trying to figure out where their wards are and make sure that they don't figure out where your wards are. So he even put the sentry over here. He figures that Vici Gaming probably put an observer ward in one of these two spots, very common spots to deny ancient stacks. Ancient stack once again, and he ended up finding the observer that's sitting over here. He places one of his own, so we'll see if Vici Gaming can guess that later.
Mechanism is now picked up by Doom. This is the team fight item that you want to have. They're actually going to smoke, probably because they have this. This gives a 250 health to yourself and your allies around you, helping sustain pushes in team fights. What is that? They're
doing two separate ganks with this, I think. All right, maybe not. I thought the Doom was going to shift top and try to get a kill on the Weaver, but they see Weaver has a haste rune. Doom isn't going to do anything because he'll still be max movement speed. So instead, they're going to group up again. It just would have been cool to see two ganks happen at the same place at the same time. They're going to find RTZ. Look at the stun, lands the stun. Here comes the follow-up stun. RTZ's so dead. He almost doomed him, but it's not worth it there. Ulti was flying to follow up there.
And it hits two. I don't know if EG wants to go in here. Probably not. As Dragon Knight and company are going to apply suppression to tier 1 tower. So remember, Dragon Knight's first ultimate will give him a damage over time spell, not spell, damage over time to his actual auto attack. So look at the tower. It's losing 20 health per second. It lasts for 5 seconds. And this is going to be an easy tower pickup for me.
Yeah. It's a mistake for Viper to put so many points in a poison attack this game, as well as Nether Toxin. Normally, Vipers, if they can get a lot of levels of corrosive skin, they have a lot of magic resistance. But he went such an old build, he actually didn't get any corrosive skin early because he was so worried about winning the 1v1 matchup.
Right.
And he did do pretty good against the Dragon Knight. He, in fact, has a lot of last hits. He's third highest on the game, but like he hasn't transitioned after that, and all the ganks are targeting him, and he's not able to survive. I mean, almost all of these he would still die anyways, but I wonder if he had more levels of corrosive skin, maybe he would have done a bit better early. Maybe he would have survived one of those deaths.
If you look at the net worth, Dragon Knight right now and Faceless Ward are basically tied, but then you have a couple of heroes from Vici on top. You can see the distribution of farm overall in that graph, and the fact that Enigma is on the top 5 is shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, he was completely blocked off from farming the first 3 to 4 minutes in the game. Forced to go in the Ancients, which is not what you want to do as an Enigma. He's now level 9, has the Black Hole, has the mechanism himself, so that in some ways, I don't want to say it counters, but it kind of cancels out some people. We got a chrono, the other mechanism on the fight.
Oh my god!
Boy gets destroyed, but Doom very quickly after as well. 1-for-1 exchange to start off this fight. After this gets stunned, Zyler and company should be able to deal enough damage to finish him off. Weaver in the meantime has time lapse. He's going to use it to reposition himself. He should be good to go. So Vici coming out on top of that one, although they did lose Doom.
There was a mistake by Alchemist there. He was unable to throw his unstable concoction in time. If you don't throw it, it stuns yourself. He ended up stunning himself. He caught the Dragon Knight with it, but there were more Vici Gaming heroes there, and they could clean up. But the main thing that was huge was the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. It caught both Mason on the Weaver, and it caught the Faceless Void, and almost one-shot Faceless Void. It was amazing. I think that was Nature's Prophet ulti, and it hit at the same time as the Ice Blast. It did a lot.
Ancient Apparition ult hits Viper directly in the face. He's at half health. Have we even explained that ult this game?
I don't think we have, but it basically does a nuke, and it puts a debuff that makes him look all frosty. And what that does, it prevents them from healing for a time period. And if they get to about 10% HP, they shatter or die. So it basically helps you burst down heroes. You'll see it used in combination with other things.
And another item picked up here for Nature's Prophet has the Orchid Malevolence, but you were talking about the single target silence that you can apply to the enemy hero, which will also deal amplified damage. We have Alchemist is going to get a full duration stun on the Dragon Knight, and there's the ultimate. Nice swap, keeping him out of harm's way. You can use it on
so tanky.
He is all these. Look at all that stuff that was used on him. He's at 3/4 HP.
The hero they would have loved to go in on was Nature's Prophet, but we have an invisibility on Super. I don't know if they can see this right. He's looking for Enigma. He might find a beat. They see him now. They're trying to ulti comes in. There's no bet for EG. Enigma's may end up dying here. We'll see. Okay, he's definitely going to die now. He's going to go down. Uses one nuke. He's going to shatter. Looking good for Vici. That invisibility rune was so useful. They could have seen that coming, but they didn't actually use it. I don't know if they spotted the invis or not.
So one of the many reasons Dragon Knight is so tanky is because of his Dragon Blood passive skill. It gives him a lot of armor, a lot of health regeneration. I mean, put that on top of the team having a mech, and it's just so difficult to kill him. They don't take the tower out, so that's one thing that EG can be happy about, but they do lose. They lost 2 there, right? There's Enigma and somebody else died, but maybe not.
Enigma died. I think maybe Alchemist. That was last fight.
Alchemist stunned himself. Yeah, I thought that was comical, but
it was just one. It was just one.
Okay, so not the hugest loss.
Wait, Alchemist stunned himself a second. Up here by the tier 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he didn't die.
It's probably because he expected the fight to continue and they backed up. Vici Gaming playing really safe. They got a kill and they backed up. They said, well, we spent a lot of time pushing here, but we killed an Enigma who's really farmed, so we got some experience and we're going to slow his snowball down. So
the item that Weaver will be going for, as we talked about a little bit in the early game, is called a Lincoln Sphere. And what it does is, first, it gives you a lot of regeneration, but mostly it's defensively built. So it will block the next incoming spell, and then it has a 17-second cooldown. So most notably, it will stop Doom from being cast upon him. It will stop Swap, all these other skills, even the Orchid Malevolence. The problem is, he is nowhere near finishing that item. So with this Orchid, with this Doom, I expect Vici Gaming to be extremely aggressive to try to take him out. And now Dragon Knight has his level 2 ultimate. I think he had that last time actually. This gives him, he keeps the poison damage from last time. Oh, he gets stunned before he can use it. They're going to destroy Void, but he gets a bunch of the drones for Arteezy.
Oh, Black Hole
double bubble for the win.
Oh my god.
Super on the Dragon Knight trying to run away, but he is so slow thanks to
Man, what a fight.
4 dead for Vici. EG wins that easily somehow.
It looks so bad, man. The Void went in, and then he realized that they split up, and as soon as they did, the BKB was popped on the Dragon Knight. He said, oh man, this isn't a good chrono. And then the Dragon Knight stunned him. He got bursted down, and right before he died, he chronoed. He accomplished his mission. He stunned them all. He got 3 enemy heroes, and most importantly, Mason just bottled the double damage rune, which means he got a free 100 damage or 70 damage. He got a free 100 damage from this double damage, so it completely made up for the fact that he didn't have items. He was on the outside. All of these guys were minus armored right on the edge. Doom died without even dooming, and then they put the Black Hole to channel to finish it up. I mean, it's 8 seconds of stable. It doesn't matter how far behind you are. You're going to win that fight if your hero's on the outside and their heroes are on the inside.
And they're going to end up getting at least 1 team in this case. It's going to be mid. It's probably going to get denied. So as you can see,
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
But you can deny your tower if it's under 10% HP. It denies a lot of gold for the enemy team. So typically speaking, the person that actually gets the last hit gets like 400 to 600 gold, a lot of gold, and the rest of your team gets 200. This time, nobody actually gets the last hit, so it means nobody gets the 600 gold, and nobody gets the 200 gold. It gets cut in half to 100. So it is actually a huge denial of gold. For somebody like EG, although that fight was huge, they're still, I'm guessing, down in the gold department.
Yes, but
they're not that far behind.
It's kind of a weird graph, actually. It goes, oh, EG's winning, EG's winning. Oops, we lost a big team fight. We're still losing, we're still losing, we're still losing. Oh, wait, that's a big team fight. And that's what things like Black Hole and Chronosphere let you do.
Look at
yeah, EXP isn't even close. Yeah. And that's a little surprising to me. They don't, it's not like they have Midases or something. Midases will accelerate your gold game usually.
To do it.
Oh, they actually do have it.
That's it.
Okay. It's just enough miss support. It sucks to lose him, but it's not that big of a deal. He won't be up for 35 seconds. The worst thing is that they don't have acid spray to counter push, actually. And that's their best way of stopping this tower from going down right now. It will most likely follow.
God, are you serious?
That's a really fast Aghanim Scepter on Ancient Apparition. What this does is it increases the duration of that Frostbite afterwards. So that means the shatter time goes from 8 seconds to 17 seconds. So EG has to play it really safe. They don't want to get caught by this, and they need Black King bars. In fact, Faceless Void only has 900 HP here. He's playing pretty greedy. He doesn't have magic immunity. He's just trying to land a good Chronosphere and hopefully not die to the AI's
Well,
blast.
the good news is Enigma is on his way to finishing his, because it takes an Ogre Club plus the Mithril Hammer, which he has his inventory, and he just needs the recipe. He's going to hit a couple heroes, and look at the difference here. Yeah. Just watch him. This lasts forever. It's ridiculous. Heal. If he goes to his fountain, he cannot heal still. He can literally die in his fountain. One of the craziest ultis in the game by far, and he is still not even close to this Lincoln Sphere. Unless he has something in the chicken or something. In the
no, he just got a Midas actually, very recently.
Oh, that's new.
Like less than a couple minutes ago. So he can catch up though. I mean, himself, a Faceless Void can farm pretty fast. Viper's not the fastest farmer, but he's okay. Prophet and Doom can outfarm him, but all they need to do is keep winning fights, and they're going to be in an okay
Radiant's
spot.
bottom tower is under attack.
It's not easy.
Should be taken out. Ice Blast is coming in. It's going to hit Vici, it's going to hit Viper.
Radiant's bottom tower
that's good
has
tower.
fallen.
So he's going to have to TP back to base and wait 18 seconds or so before he can start
That's
regenerating.
really bad, actually.
And
He's
as a
bought a salve as
Dire's
well.
top tower is
But as
under
a result,
attack.
this is going to free them up to take this tower at least.
Smart from Arteezy here. He's spending 250 gold. It's kind of a lot of gold, but he needs to get to the fight before it starts. So he's going to start salving up.
He's in such a good position.
What happened?
Look at Void. He can do it. He has a great position. Alchemist is going to get the stun. Void looking to come in, but wants to get more than one. He's going to catch two. Sylar runs into it actually. Dragon Knight should have dropped right up.
Oh, good swap, good swap.
Oh,
man.
Doom dies right afterwards. Vici has to run. Doom is applied to Viper. He doesn't really give two craps about that, though. It looks like
Oh,
get
get
it
both.
too!
Can they get the clean up?
Alchemist is attempting to run away. A nice shot from the big one. Looks like they're going to clear up Ancient Apparition at the very least. That might be the end of this fight.
You think it's Sylar?
Maybe.
Any way to get in? Probably not. Nope. He's going to get out.
So something to note about Unstable Concoction. Even though you apply it to one hero, it's a single target ability, it actually has a little range around it. So if it hits somebody that's close to another person, it will stun both, and you see that go into effect right there.
Did you see the black hole there? I think it was miscasted by Zyme, not 100%. We did see the Doom die right away. That was, again, a good separation of fights by EG. What they did was they caught two heroes in the Chronosphere. There was another one over here, and during that whole fight, Doom was over here. And since Doom was cut off from the rest of the team, Doom was being fought by Weaver and Viper. And right before Doom died, Viper was able to kill him. Viper took the Doom, but he doesn't really care. He's got magic resistance. His HP is pretty high, so it doesn't hurt that bad. You have to Doom at the start of the fight. You can't just Doom and then immediately die after. You're not using your hero correctly if that's what happens. So EG's doing a great job segmenting the fights there. That went really well. Wow, did he see that TP coming or something?
Yeah, he did.
What was that?
Ancient Apparition, where was that going?
He doesn't have a ward, he just like felt it. Or maybe he was like, okay, I can't fight these right now. That's maybe what it was. But he backed up there. That could have been him dying.
He has 5,200 gold.
Who does?
Prophet.
Oh, really? I'm
Probably
surprised.
Going to go for a Sheep's or a Scythe of Vice, I would assume. Wait, it could be anything. This is the question when you're playing Nature's Prophet. You have so many decisions as far as items are concerned. Because if do you want to go damage? Do you want to go utility? Do you want to go mix of the two? I mean, even a Scythe of Vice, which is considered a support, well, maybe not a support item, but a caster item where you can sheep or hex the enemy, dealing a lot of damage. Oh, this stack's going to be taken. Look at the splash damage from Dragon Knight with the double damage.
They do use the ulti though, so when the ulti runs out, he's just a crappy melee hero. Dragon Knight's really not very good if his ulti isn't up. If he's a melee hero, he's pretty bad. He's pretty bad, but really needs the dragon form to work. And if EG spots this, which they will now, they're running over an observer ward. Say, okay, he's got his ulti. It's going to run out soon. That means we can maybe pressure a tower. And if we pressure the tower, we don't have to worry about Dragon Knight at least.
And something to keep in mind in the fight earlier, when Dragon Knight, you guys will see he turned golden right before he died. That is not a normal death animation. That is actually the item called Black King Bar that gives
Radiant's
you
top tower is
and
under attack.
The significance of him using that right before he
Radiant
dies, because first of all,
structures
it made
are
no difference
fortified.
when he died right after any event, you've said many times. But more importantly, the duration changes each time you use it. So it starts off at 10 seconds, which is an eternity in Dota 2. He's used it twice, so it's down to 8 seconds for the next time. It goes down to a minimum of 5. Once it does that, or sorry, minimum of 4. Once it does that, it's just not nearly as effective as it used to be. And actually, EG finds the stack that was stolen. They're very sad about it. And they're going to clean it up anyway.
Like, oh, there was some things here. That was actually pretty cool from what Vici used. They used the dragon form to go steal some of their stack. Then he ran across the map, and then he killed their 3 stacks. So he actually got 2 stacks out of it, which is pretty efficient. That's pretty cool. Well done by them. Aside the Vice is what he chooses, so he goes for a Disable. Last game he bought a Necro 3 because they're pushing, but this game they need to be able to initiate and kill important heroes. They need to kill Enigma, they need to kill Faceless Void, they need to kill Weaver, and all of these heroes are pretty evasive and hard to kill, so getting the Hex is really good.
And the cool thing, like I was bringing up, Purge, with if you're an intelligence here and you buy this item, the intelligence part of it, which is 35 intelligence that you get, is actually converted to damage as well since he's an intelligence hero. So it's a little mix of both utility and damage overall. Do we have a smoke?
We do. Doom is farming. He's going to push up a bit. He's got okay items, but he's died quite a few times now. So he's a little behind what we normally see Dooms that are doing really well. The supports are really running forward, actually. But if they catch anybody and stun him, they die. Guaranteed. Because they'll swap immediately with the Vengeful Spirit, and then they'll stun the Dragon Knight, and then throw everything they have on him.
Looks like they're going to counter these wards up here, trying to get as much vision as possible. They don't have a gem though. That was definitely a sentry.
Yeah, they have really cool ward positions right now. I like all of these. They're
Look
really
at the mini
interesting.
map. It's just flooded. Oh god, littering the Dota 2 map.
This one's great. It spots a lot of EG's movement between the mid and towards the jungle. But EG's still pretty grouped up. They're kind of scared where the enemy team is right now.
Well, Mason on the Weaver is actually getting closer and closer now to his it's been a while since we looked at his farm. He has the first advantage. What he needs is the ultimate orb, which is 2100 gold, which is exactly the amount he has basically. 13 something, like 1350 or whatever it is for the actual recipe. So he's about 1,000 away finishing it. That'll be nice. Of course, even that's not enough. He needs to start dealing damage really soon after that. And the question is, what damage does he want to go? Because, I mean, a lot of people get a Desolator on him. That's a nice damage. It gives you raw damage, it gives you minus armor capabilities, but how effective is that really in your opinion against like somebody like Dragon? Like I was saying, he gets so much armor already. Does it really make that much of it?
It's still useful. I mean, they do physical damage. Viper right-clicks for physical. There is physical components that faces Void. Weaver has minus armor. He's eventually going to get a Desolator. It's definitely good to have it. It still does help, I promise. So they'll go for it.
Speaking of that, though,
he's got more armor now.
Yeah. On Dragon Knight. This is an item that does so many different things. Firstly, it gives him attack speed, which is nice for, well, pretty much guess why, because he deals a lot more damage now. But more importantly, it gives an aura, so 5+ armor aura to your teammates and yourself, and a -5 armor aura to both your enemies around you as well as buildings, which is huge for pushing. Not that they have actually a pretty good pushing team.
Yeah, the armor aura is really good.
Roche, yeah.
It really is fantastic. Actually, this gives 20 attack speed to their allies, and ROTK, the Doom, has an aura that gives 15 attack speed. So they have 9 attack speed to their team. Here comes ulti. They're going to try to get Zai. Zai's in trouble. He might have to BKB this. We'll see if he's going to block bullets. No, throws one dude. And I both almost where catches two. Catches great. This is so bad. Fenrir, Vinci's chip going to go down. Most likely, Universe Box. Nope, doesn't have a BKB. Black Hole catches two. If they can get kills off this, it'll be great. Super's going to go down. Siler's going to try to TP out. They get 4. Huge plays from Zai. What a chronosphere, and EG needed another fight, and now they've got to be ahead. Look at the gold graph.
Enigma, Zion Enigma, he has balls of steel.
Yeah.
He could have been stunned, but he actually apparently knew the range of what Dragon Knight's stun was. He was baiting him in, went up to the high ground, which means that Dragon Knight could not see him. Once he got there, he popped his Black King bar, came in for a little surprise action, stunning him. And the Chronosphere team fall, and then the Enigma Black Hole after. That was unbelievable execution from EG.
Yeah, that was super well done there. Now Arteezy is just tanking up. Universe still Dragon's the last hit. Viper picks up the Aegis. Arteezy can now die twice. He's catching up here. He's just going tank items. Stats with a magic community item and now a playmail. He goes very slightly different builds than everybody I see, I feel like. Like his Razor build is very different than other people's. This game he goes for magic community and armor. He literally just wants to not die during the burst. And if he can do that, he's happy because he can come back, he can contribute to fights. He just wants to survive the Doom. He's not going for damage items. Those are countered. If he just gets tanky items and BKB, it does protect him in a lot of ways.
And now Weaver officially picks up the Lincoln Sphere, which we've been talking up for, I feel, 30 minutes now.
Yeah, you have. I haven't said once. You bring it up
I
all
like
the time.
it. It's so good. But this will, of course, block an incoming spell. It's not necessarily the best because Dragon Knight can just, or sorry, a bunch of heroes can take it off, but it gives him enough time to actually do something about it. And apparently the crowd is very excited with a 14,000 experience lead for EG, which is actually pretty large in the 30-minute mark. The gold is pretty much even at this point.
How many levels? Let's look at the hero levels. Okay, the 2 supports are at 11. Everybody on the lower level EG are 14, and their top tiers are at 17. So they all have level 3 ultimates. This is important for Viper, maybe more than Weaver's. Weaver's is actually pretty good, because even if you get mana drained, time lapse costs 0. So that's good things, but there's not that many mana drains on Vici Gaming. We don't see Necro 3 or anything like that, so it's not that big of an issue for him.
And actually,
getting Black Hole and Chrono to 16 is good, though.
Yeah,
if they can.
Faceless Void, Universe doing out of his mind right now. He's carrying this team, and they were behind at the beginning of the game, but he's come back with a vengeance. He's close to finishing his own Black King bar, and this will allow him to actually survive. So a lot of times he's been initiating, he's been using his Chronosphere, and then he just dies shortly thereafter. Of course, he's done his job, but he'd like to stay alive a little longer, because he actually deals a decent amount of damage, especially inside the Chronosphere itself. The Ancient Apparition ult is a huge spell that gets, it doesn't get completely dispelled completely from BKB, but it's still very effective because you will not shatter, and you will not take the damage over time. And there it is, full BKB.
So after he Chronospheres, he's going to wait a second or two, and then as soon as the nukes are coming in on him, he'll pop his Black King bar, and then the A ulti won't hit him. And if the A ulti doesn't go over, Swap Viper might be in trouble. He's got an Aegis, so if he goes down, he's dying really fast here.
I don't know if
he will be respawning. They didn't use much at all to do that. They didn't use Doom. They just used a swap. So 45 second cooldown, no loss there. Arteezy's maybe a little sad, but he'll be okay, man.
Yeah.
His armor is actually very good, but he needs all this armor.
Radiant's
Bench has a minus armor wave. She has a Medallion of Courage. There's an AC as well, so we're talking like minus 13 armor. They may even need to get a Vlad's on EG. I would like to see PPD maybe purchase one. He's probably going to go Blink first, but maybe after that a Vlad's would be nice.
I just noticed the top tower went down, and it was not denied, actually. So
really?
That's a lot of gold going the way of EG, even though Nature's Prophet was up here defending, so...
Vlad's, by the way, it's an item that gives auras. It gives a damage aura to your team, it gives an armor aura to your team, and it gives a melee lifesteal aura, and it also gives mana regen. But largely you buy it for the armor aura. The 5 armor that you get, it's about a 2,000 gold item, kind of counteracts what the AC is doing to your team. So it could be very useful in the upcoming fights.
And look at Mason now. 3,300 gold out of nowhere, so he can actually start going some damage. The Desolator costs is 3,200 for the components.
41.
41 overall.
Yep.
And of course, keep in mind, guys, he might be saving for buyback as well. If you die, actually, this is a really good hero to buy back on. So I'll explain how this works. So typically speaking, when you die, you can buy back, right? You lose a lot of gold from dying. Buyback that costs a lot of gold, and if you can get back in the fight somehow really quickly, that's the best heroes to buy back on. So Nature's Prophet's a great example. He dies, he buys back, he can teleport right back into the fight, and Weaver actually has the opportunity to do the same. Let's say he gets killed right now. He buys back, he uses time lapse, he's back to where he was 5 seconds ago, which means he's back into the fight, which could be potentially huge in these fights, but that's just theory crafting at this point. I'm just thinking a top
Yeah, the only downside to buying back and time-lapsing back in is it kills your ability to time-lapse. But it's generally better to be back anyways. It just costs you a lot of gold to do it. So it's something he can do if him being alive is going to make a huge difference. So he's very, very close to the what was it called again? The Desolator now. And that's another -6 armor that they can use. They've got PPD. There's actually a lot of minus armor on both teams. The Alchemist has the Medallion of Courage that reduces armor by 6. He's got Acid Spray that reduces armor by 6. If they put a Desolator on top of that, the 30 or the 35 armor that Dragon Knight's dealing with right now, it's going to go down to about 15, which is a big difference. It really is a huge difference when a lot of the damage from EG is physical.
Yeah. Ooh. Doesn't look like Alchemist will be stunning himself anymore. He has the Blink.
Blink is very good for that because it increases your range heavily. 600 units is something like this. 1200 is something like this. So he can basically charge stun from safety. He can blink in last second and throw it out. So he's much more likely to land offensive stuns. He kind of needs this item. It's very good for him.
Die on the Enigma is now super farmed. Not only does the mechanism which heals the team, not only does it have BKB, he now has a Shiva's Guard, which gives him a ton of armor. And it actually has an aura, really negative aura for the enemy team, which allows them, or not allows them, well, makes them attack a little bit slower, 25%.
Quite a bit. No, dude, it's been buffed. It does 40 now.
What? Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
It's really good. It's like an anti-Hyperstone. Hyperstone actually gives 55, but 40 is amazing. There was actually a period of time in Dota where almost nobody built Shiva's Guards. It almost never happened. Oh, we have an AC on Viper. That's what he's building with his plate mail. Did you say that yet?
No.
Nice. I don't have to feel stupid.
Well, you mentioned he had plate mail. I just assumed, what else would he go?
RTC buys, I mean, once in a while I see a Shiva's on Viper. It's not probably a good choice, but what Assault Cuirass does, it gives, we already talked about on Vici Gaming, it basically completely counteracts the enemy's Assault Cuirass. It gives them 5 armor, it gives his team attack speed, but they also have a Shiva's Guard up on Vici Gaming, so we have a hero made. It's going to be super, they're going in, there's the front speed pop, BKB is so fast here. PPD's going to stun himself because of it, and they're still going for the kill. Super, that BKB reaction was so sick. If he can live from this, it would be amazing from the Doom on side. He's getting low. We still see the Doom. Mason's going to go after him. Mason will clean him up here, and EG's still winning this despite the super sick BKB.
Not even close.
That was so fast.
He applied his Doom to Enigma, and he just dropped dead. He was like the squishiest hero. This is a strength hero, but how much health does he have?
His health is huge, but the problem is that he has money in Blink Dagger and Blink Dagger and Black King Bar. That's a magic resistance, saver, and an initiator. And his armor is non-existent. He's got 3+5, that's 8. And we already talked about the minus armor. Essence Spray. We've got Medallion. We've got an AC. We've got Desolator. All this stuff just comes right through. There's no Desolator yet, but it just comes right through him. He can't survive against this lineup right now.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Dragon Knight, if they don't get a kill, that is a big time deal as Dragon Knight won't be able to catch anybody. So he spent a lot of gold.
Well,
this is 6 minutes he can't buy
saves the
back.
racks, though.
It does save the barracks, that is true.
That's very important.
Forget what I just said.
If this dies, the creeps that are spawning from the Dire team are going to be really, really powerful.
Yeah.
They would go up by about 50% HP and 50% damage, and if that happens, you're going to be in a bad time. So he had to buy back there. It's going to kill his ability to snowball. It looks like he's building like which is another tank item. It was very difficult for him to die, but if he keeps going for tank items, at some point his damage output is going to really reduce, and there won't be anybody to do damage on Vici Gaming. And they're getting really close to that point right now because EG has 1, 2, 3 heroes to do damage. Vici Gaming has Doom, who went utility. They have Dragon Knight, who's going tank. It's pretty much profit or bust for their DPS output, other than their ability to chainstun somebody.
Gonna attempt to find the Enigma here. He's running away. He's gonna get Sprout. Oh, Sprout misses though. He's gonna get swapped. And we'll get insta-gift thereafter. Question is, what can Vici do after this? Roshan is not quite up. It's gonna be another minute. But in the last engagement, a lot of discipline showed from EG. You got to keep in mind, these guys are, for the most part, really young. I mean, Arteezy is 17. I think Zai, is it Zai that's 16?
Yeah.
It's insane. These guys are playing for millions and millions of dollars, literally. And here we have Dragon Knight using
surely you're exaggerating here. Nope, actually millions and millions of dollars. There's going to be the stun. That does no damage. That does physical damage, actually, and again, he has like a billion armor, so it did very little here. It's stun him though.
Sprout's going to use this in order to create some trees. They're bidding. Enigma down for 20 seconds. I'm going to check if he has a buyback. He does actually. There's no way EG lets him get this Dragon Knight. Run in. Rhoda's here on 2.
Good swap, good
swap.
swap.
Coming out of the ball. Dragon Knight. A lot of action as Viper gets killed. All he can do is right hook at this point. 2 buybacks from EG, so this is definitely a good fight for Vici overall. Weaver's going to attempt to find Skylar. Doesn't have his sword, won't have any vision.
Oh,
the beautiful Shiva's giving vision at the last moment. They're going to be able to pick up Nature's Prophet. Again, Alchemist stuns himself. I feel like every time the camera's on him, he just stuns himself.
There's 2 buybacks there, one from Faces Void, one from Alchemist. They only killed 1 hero there in Sylar. The fight started off really well, but great positioning from the Ventral Spirit. That was Fenrir saving that entire fight. If he wasn't outside the Chronosphere to swap out the Nature's Prophet, Prophet would have died right at the start, and that would have been most of the damage coming out of EG Gaming. On the bright side for EG, they're able to use these buybacks to secure Roshan, and by the time that fight starts, they're going to be ready to go. They actually don't have Black Hole just yet. 13 was pretty ridiculous. Ice Blast coming in.
Nice 19.
They can't defend this. There's no way they can get there. Roshan's full to the Dire Taker. Viper picks up the Aegis. He grabs the Yasha. Do you think this could be a Sanjin Yasha this game?
On who, sorry?
On Viper. It's a Yasha right now. Sanjin Yasha gets movement speed. Manta's pretty good for dodging spells.
Against Nature's Prophet.
He's got a Yasha.
Oh, he does?
So there's no way it's going to be a Halberd, because Halberd doesn't go into that item.
I thought he had a Sange. Damn
no,
it.
he just has the Sange.
No.
Or Sanj.
So Sange and Yasha are Manta, basically, right?
Yeah, those are his choices. It's a really weak damage item. It's like a low to medium damage item, but it gives you mobility, which is good. So you can chase people a bit easier.
It adds the MAME effect, right? And I mean, he already can kite pretty well. Kiting means you can slow like a melee hero like Dragon Knight or Doom, and they can't really do anything. They just force the fight.
Radiant's
They take another tower here. I'm surprised Vici is maybe not grouping up to defend this. I'm a little surprised about this. But they're going to get ready to fight. They still have Doom, they still have Black Hole. Only thing we're missing is Ice Blast, but that'll be up in a moment. And Alchemist ulti, but
doesn't debuff
Ice Blast.
The Ice Blast. I'm trying to think of reasons to get a...
Whoa, BKB, what?
On who?
I heard one. I don't know what they're going in. Zai coming from... Oh, is that actually going on Fenrir? Damage on him. Couple hits there to BKB. He gets stunned right off that Doom on Zai. No Black Hole from him. Stuns coming through from BB. Lands big Chronosphere catching 3. Zai wants to stay alive, but he's going to fall in a moment. Sylar might die as well. Sylar goes down that big major throw. Time lapse. Gets it off. He's going to get a full heal off. RTK falling to the ground. Super is getting low as well. Arteezy is going to go down, but he'll respawn shortly. Stun coming from BBD. Super is going to take the stun. Here comes Arteezy. He's going to be able to clean this up big time. Stun happens. Mason wants to kill, but he's scared. He's so low. He's going to go high ground. He gets the kill. He gets out still. A little tentative there, but waits for the perfect moment. He swings back in, and EG goes high ground. They win another big fight. 4 dead heroes. Age is paying off, and this may be a Rax for them.
It's going to be 2. I don't know why they're not just going mid. The racks are available for the bidding. They're going to go for this tower, though. I guess it's because of the creeps.
They're backdooring it, but it doesn't matter.
There we go.
They're getting it low. Zai was back. He did use buyback to come back to the fight. As soon as he went down, he buys back, shows up on tower. They still have Black Hole. They could stay and fight this if they want to. The
There's
problem is
no
that Weaver's
Weaver,
got no
Radiant's bottom
HP.
barracks
He's
are under
running all the
attack.
way back to base, though.
They're actually not
Very slow.
focusing this very well. Range barracks is going to go down first. Melee barracks as well. They still, you know, they have so much time. That's fine. Two dead heroes. Are they going to get another set? They're going for a stun. Pushes back Ancient Apparition. They can get one more Rax here. This would be really good.
Focusing the range, though, this is not going to be nearly as effective as the melee. And the fortification spot, I think this is where they run, and they will. That means 5 minutes down, or is it 6? I get this confused on the
5 minutes on the fort.
Okay, so they
don't have to leave yet. They've got 15 seconds left. If they at least get a range barracks, this would be good for them. They're going to put a few hits in here. They have to watch out for the swap. And that's going to be it. Range barracks, maybe melee as well. A couple more hits. There's a swap. They're right now. BKB's used good. BKB by him. Doom happens though. Here comes. Oh, he's looking for a black hole. Not going to happen. Bench goes down, and now he's going to get back off. Huge nuke on the side. Universe looking for Chrono. 10 seconds. He's going to have to cancel his TP. Maybe no TP's in. Black hole catches two versus trouble. This should be the end of the game. If Dragonite goes down, that should be it. I think he's so low, but there's no tanking. Not enough tank. Two first dies. Buyback to RTK. Silo's low. They have to keep Nature's Pumped alive. He's their damn short, but he's doing the AoE. Side goes to RTK, running for his life. 25 HP. He's going to go down to the Scorched Earth. And TPD retreating, but Mason shows up again, and now he's in trouble. A little bit of minus armor. This should be a 2-shot on FY. Here comes stun as well. There's the 2-shot. EG's still up.
Going for it.
Oh, does he want it?
He's gonna get it. I think.
One more.
No,
No,
at the last moment. He's gonna time lapse back out.
Lose
He's gonna
Paladin.
have 2 full lanes of racks. I don't know if they're gonna go for top. They might just go for throne. I don't know. Only 2 alive right now for Vici. Of course, Mason is finally back. They took that Rex without Mason, which is the big damage dealer. And of course, Desolator will actually lower the armor of this tower, meaning it's gonna be a lot easier to take. I don't know how much they're gonna go for though.
They just want to do a bunch.
Doesn't have his ultimate
That's good.
in 30 seconds.
They do
Big
a bunch of
fight.
damage to the tower. It's so big. Holy crap. That Chronosphere, man, saved him. And the Dragonite had to commit to the TP. If he would have stopped the TP, he would have been 10 seconds late for the fight.
Yeah.
So even though the Chrono landed there, which is pretty unlucky for him, I'm sure he really wishes that he TP'd maybe to here instead. He really lost out on that, and they were able to do the perfect ultimate. Swap was already used, because remember, he was used on Hyper at the start of the fight, so there's nothing to cancel the Black Hole. And that just put Vici Gaming in a really bad spot.
And now that Weaver has both the Lincoln Sphere, BKB, Desolator, and now a heart, look at his health. He has 3,000 health, theoretically 6,000 if you can use time-lapse correctly. He is so difficult to kill, and he deals a ton of damage. So, Vici, I think they're just going to have to push down mid. They're going to have to go all out here. Void picks up a Mjolnir. He doesn't have buyback at all. This is actually really risky, I feel like.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't. He needs 900 gold more to be able to buy back. So pretty greedy, maybe.
Really
it's hard to say. They're 2 racks up. That's a big advantage. Vici Gaming's come to push mid. The Mjolnir's especially greedy because there's a lot of Black King bars on Vici Gaming, and Mjolnir doesn't do damage through magic immunity. But these Black King bars are so low duration. 4 seconds for Dragonite. It's almost nothing. It starts to become not very useful at this point.
This could be the last stand.
They need a good initiation. It's what they need. Mason's got buyback though. That guy's important. Viper as well has got buyback. That's important.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume they'd be able to hold this, but it still gives you, it puts risk on you when not needed, I feel like. The Dragonite pops his ultimate, actually.
This Alchemist is level 20.
It's a 4
That's insane. He's got a Black King bar of his own, so he's even going to be unable to be magic stone. They're trying to get him to doom this Viper right here. He's microing it. They use the Manta. They're not falling for it, though. Gets the Sentry. Their board stays up. That's really important. They're going to have to waste another Sentry to kill this. If they do have another Sentry, there it is. Sentry goes down. Savage over good swap. Fenrir gets back right for that. Here comes the Doom. Anywhere. Doom on RTZ. Not the Manta. Black Hole. That's going to do so much. Valley gets interrupted, though. They're going down. Good game. Game 3 coming up. EG takes the win. The crowd is going crazy. What a fight from EG. What a game. They want to go to the grand finals.
Go to game 3. This is the full duration of this series. And EG comes through with the MVP to Universe by far on Void. And Zai, of course, on the Enigma.